Hello friends, you're the Lonesome Gamer, and today I'm gonna play Shadows of Brimstone, The Swamps of Death by Flying Frog Productions. And I've already done the other core game of Shadows of Brimstone, the City of the Ancients. And it was actually my most successful video until now. So I thought maybe I'm gonna do another one about the second core game here. So if we make it into another world, I'm simply gonna choose the swamps to be this other world. Okay, now let's set up the game. Okay, so the game is set, as you can see. Tons of cards over here, tons of tokens, and I haven't played that for a while, maybe, I don't know, could be half a year or something, so I might actually miss some details, but I just read the rules again, so I think I can, it should be okay. Okay, I'm gonna start 4 new characters here. First guy is the Gunslinger. I already had him in the first game. In the first playthrough I did. He comes with this Dead-Eye shot, which basically adds +2 to a damage, if I choose to use that. With a pistol, he also carries the Old Lantern. He's got the Quick Draw ability. Anytime a new group of enemies is placed on the board, you may immediately make a free attack outside of the normal turn sequence. To use this ability, you must have a hand open. Okay. Then we got the Saloon Girl. She also was with the first posse. And she's got the Weathered Poncho, which is pretty cool. A +4 health. That helps her a lot because she only has a health of 8, so that's definitely a great item for her. Then she's got the Holdout Pistol, free attack once per fight, critical hit on 5 or 6. She uses the Dirty Fighting. All of your attacks are +1 damage. We got over here the US Marshal with a shotgun, which uses the D8 to hit and for damage. 6, 7 or 8 count as critical hit. Amazingly powerful. The Marshal Badge, once per adventure, give all heroes +2 shots with a gun or +2 combat during their next activation. And then we got the Roughskin Gloves. +1 strength, once per turn may reroll 1 melee to hit roll. And by the way, this guy here, the Gunslinger, has the ribbon, +1 agility. At the end of each adventure, you may remove 1 corruption from yourself. And finally, we got the Preacher. Now this guy is a little more interesting. Well, he's got the Lucky Charm, which gives him +1 luck. Once per adventure, ignore all damage from a single source. Now, in addition to this, he's got the Holy Book. That's +1 faith, yeah. +1 combat. And he starts the game with 2 faith, so he gets an additional. He's a holy man. You may not use guns. Starts with 1 blessing sermon and 1 judgment sermon. And the Scourge of the Dead. You are +1 damage on all of your attacks against undead enemies. Now, I'm going to explain the sermons a little later, but this one helps to heal. That's the faith healing. That's the blessing sermon, faith healing. He starts in addition to this holy man ability. Then he's got the Holy Speed. That is the random sermon, the random blessing, which allows him to give a hero +3 initiative, including himself, and the Righteous Fury, which allows him to add +1 damage to all of a hero's hits. And we got the special abilities, I forgot them, of the Saloon Girl here. The Comforting Presence. At the end of the hero turn, may heal 1 wound or sanity from every other adjacent hero. Gain 5 experience for each wound sanity healed this way. May only use guns that have the keyword light, and she's fast, so a +1 movement. And then we got the Marshal here. Double shot with the shotgun. Once per turn, when you kill an enemy with a shotgun, you gain +1 shot with that shotgun. So, pretty cool. And all of them have chosen dynamite as their, well, minor item. I think dynamite is amazingly powerful, and that is actually a problem I have with this game. I think dynamite is so much more powerful than every other item in this game. Maybe there are a few items, I don't know, that you can buy if you're a level 8 hero or something, but basically dynamite is the most powerful item out there, simply because it ignores the defense of the enemies. And I think this is actually a little unbalanced, that you can... many enemies are really extremely hard to kill at these low hero levels, but with dynamite it's no big deal at all. So that's I'm not so happy with that. But okay. I think we're ready to go. The mission we're doing is we want to rescue a lost person. Okay, it's the search party mission. Dragged off in the night, one of the local frontier folk has gone missing, and there are signs of a struggle leading into the hills. No one else around these parts is willing to do anything about it due to the sheer number of vile creatures roaming those hills, but you can't bring yourselves to simply walk away. Not this time. Okay, now we roll for the person missing here. Okay, that is the preacher's daughter. Holy moly. Now that is going to be definitely a challenge for him. So we want to find 3 clues basically. And then we have found the missing person. That would give us $100 and a sanity as a reward and 50 experience points. If the hero failed the mission, each hero takes D3 corruption points, ignoring willpower, as the loss weighs heavily on their souls. Okay, so the thing is now, it is absolutely possible that we just encounter some monsters which are so overwhelming, and that we're just unlucky or something. If this happens, I'm allowed to escape. I mean, the rules definitely allow me this. And if this happens kind of early in the game, then I will actually start the mission simply again and continue with the playthrough. So do a, of course I will accept this failure penalty, but then we're going to do simply return on the next day or whatever and try it again. But I don't know, I mean, maybe after whatever 2 hours or 3 hours of play or so, there is no turning back then. Okay. Yeah, I think we're now ready to go. Okay, the Gunslinger has the highest initiative, 6. Saloon Girl has a 5. The US Marshal a 4. And the Preacher has a 2. So we go simply from left to right. And we start with the Gunslinger. Now that is a 2. And I just show you the miniature here. Pretty beautiful, actually. So he moves 2 spaces simply here, and then he wants to scavenge the area. And remember, if we roll a 6 with 3 dice, we can draw a card. And yes, we can. Nice. Okay, so that's a good start, actually, a small find. You find a small scattering of coins stained with blood. So it's 10 experience points, $25. And you might remember there are no official markers for money and no markers for experience points. So I gotta use a sheet here and need a pen. Okay, and I actually already realized I made a mistake here. I forgot to roll a depth track, which I should do at the very beginning of the turn. So I'm gonna roll 2 dice, and we need more than a 7 or more. Yes. Okay, fine. Now let's continue. The Saloon Girl moves with a 2. She's got a +1 for movement. And I think we all also start with a grid, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure we do, actually. But I'm going to check that later on. I'm not sure about that, actually. Okay, so it's 3 spaces for the Saloon Girl. And the Rancher with a 5. And by the way, here we have his miniature. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and finally the Preacher. Now that is a 4, so that's cool. And also his miniature can be seen here. 1, 2, 3, and I'm gonna stay there because the next one will be the Gunslinger, and if the Preacher moves here, the Gunslinger will be stuck between the Preacher and the Saloon Girl, and we don't want that to happen. Okay, so that's the end of the first turn. Now we roll again for the depth track, and no problems, very good. So let's see what the Gunslinger does. That is a 1. That sucks quite a bit. But it gives him a grid. I think I will not move here. Simply because then the Preacher again will be stuck. So, let's see, we got the Saloon Girl here with a 4. 1, 2, 3. Now she can start to discover the next room here. And, well, officially I actually should place a scavenge marker here in that room. The US Marshal. Well, but of course we have to draw the map card. You see, I'm not completely into it yet, but I'm pretty sure after a few turns there will be no more problems. So let's draw from the map deck, and we have the Cavern of Bones here. So let's find that tile. Okay, so that is definitely not exactly what you want to find if you explore a mine. So we place an exploration marker in there, and then let's see. Let's see about the exits. Okay, so the US Marshal, that is also a 1. That's not too bad now. Gives him a grid, and he just moves a space ahead. And the Preacher, okay, so well, that's also a 1. Okay, that basically then it was a good turn because we all stayed together and we all gained a grid, so that's fine, I guess. So that's the end of the movement phase then, and now we come to the exploration phase and flip that token. And we got an encounter here. And we got 3 gates, three ways to move on. So there is no dead end here. And now I'm using kind of a combination between a house rule and the optional rule of this fixed encounters. So there is this piles of bones encounter here. And now I'm going to roll a die, and on a 1 to 4, I'm going to use this piles of bones encounter, and on a 5 or 6, I draw from a deck of encounters which doesn't consist of any of these special encounters mentioned on any card of this map cards. So let's see. Okay, so that is a 4. So we will now actually have this encounter piles of bones. The room is filled with massive piles of human bones, some stacked nearly to the ceiling. The sight of this chills you to the bone. Who or what could have done that? Every hero immediately takes d6 horror hits. Okay. Now let's see. The gunslinger starts, and now he takes 4 horror hits. But he's got a willpower of 4. So he only takes 2 sanity damage. The Saloon Girl. Okay, these are 3 hits. And she also has a willpower of 4, so she takes 1 damage. The US Marshal takes 6 hits, which sucks. He's not an extremely stable person. But he was lucky here. He takes only 2 damage. So he's basically fine. And the Preacher, he's a brave guy with a willpower of 3. So let's see how many hits he takes. Only 2. And oh boy. So yeah, he takes the 2 damage here. That wasn't so great. But fine. Then, one hero slips on some scattered bones, threatening to start an avalanche of skulls. Okay, I think this symbol means random hero. But I gotta check that. No, it doesn't. It says, yes, it does. It does select a random hero. So it would be cool to find the gunslinger or maybe the saloon girl. We definitely do not want the preacher. So we roll with this 8-sided die and see which one it will be. And that's the gunslinger. That is pretty cool. Now it's good that he has the ribbon here. So he's got 4 dice. And he needs a 5+. And he did it. Very good. We got a 6 here. If successful, gain 25 experience and draw loot as the small cascade uncovers something of value. Okay. That's pretty cool, and overall it wasn't too bad. Okay, let's see. This should come in handy. Now 20 more experience, draw a gear card. Pretty cool. And here we have the gear cards. Matches. Huh. That's not so great. Discard to ignore voices in the dark. Well, at least it wasn't too bad. And of course, the gunslinger gains now, I think, 45 experience points for this action. Okay, so let's move on with the gunslinger. Nope. First we're going to roll for the death track. And that's... oh, wait a second. Now that is interesting because that's a special event. And I think it's actually a pretty cool special event, a double 6. But I think it's... well, let's see what it is. Okay, now this is the Stubborn Resolve. This place is horrible and unforgiving, but you're not about to give up without a fight. Each hero may immediately heal D6 wound sanity or recover 1 grit. KO'd heroes may immediately recover. Okay, so it's not that great because, well, most of us have a lot of grit and only have little losses. But okay, it's not bad. The gunslinger rolls first and he gets rid of the 2 sanity. Now, what about the saloon girl? I think she takes a grit. US Marshal, he also gets rid of his sanity. Or of its sanity damage. And finally the preacher. Yes, that's also fine. Okay, and now we actually can start with the movement action of the gunslinger, and I guess I'm gonna go in this direction here. So that's a 4. 1, 2, 3. Damn. Again, we can only move 2 spaces. Otherwise, we would block the way here. So let's go here then. I'm not sure. Maybe we should do this. Maybe we should simply move here. Bring the preacher here too. I'm not so sure actually. No, I think I'm going to wait here. And now it's the saloon girl, and she only has a 1. So she would get a grid, but she already has her maximum grid of 2. So she cannot get another one, but she can get another one and spend it right away to re-roll this movement roll. So that's a 5 now. And well, I think she doesn't want to explore the next room yet while the preacher, an example, is that far behind. But she can move here and then scavenge the room. And that wasn't successful. We come to the US Marshal, and he rolls a 5. 2, 3, 4. Well, I think he actually moves right behind her. And he also scavenges. And yes, he actually is allowed to draw a card. And if you ask yourself why I have this 30-sided die laying around here, usually you always have to shuffle the scavenge cards and the loots cards again. And I simply roll a die and then draw whatever. If I roll a 3, the 3rd card, or so we see. Okay, let's see what the Marshal has found. Whoa, something shiny. 10 experience. There's something back there. Roll a d6. Might be a dark stone, or maybe even an artifact. That's a 2. So I'm considering throwing away the gear, the grid, because anytime you kill an enemy you may recover a grid. I mean, I think I'm gonna do that. I got a good chance to get a gear or an artifact, and that can be pretty powerful. Ooh, okay. Well, then it's a dark stone, which is also fine. And 10 experience points, and that room is scavenged. Oops, and here we got our dark stone marker. So now the preacher moves on. That's just a 2. Shit. So that wasn't great. So he's just here. So he's quite behind now. Okay. Anyway, let's see what happens next. The depth roll again. That was only a 5. So that's not so great. The darkness moves a little bit ahead now. And the gunslinger moves now again. Oh, come on, this is horrible. But okay, we can re-roll that because he already had 2 grid. Okay, that's at least something. 1, 2. Yeah, there is a connection, so I think he can move here. 3, 4. Okay. Now the saloon girl will actually explore the next room. Yeah, okay. So she moves here. The Marshal. That's a 3, so well, he simply moves 1 step closer here. And then finally the preacher, and it would be good if he would roll at least a 3. Well, that's fine. 1, 2, 3, so we stay together here. That's definitely a good thing. And I forgot to draw a map card because of the saloon girl will explore here. So we have the mining lift. Okay. Okay, so we place an exploration marker in there. And, well, we go now into the exploration phase right away. So let's see what we find. Now these are 2 encounters, and we got 1 exit here. So let's roll where the exit is. Okay, it's on that side. So here we have a dead end. Okay, so here we are now, and so we have 2 encounters. One will definitely be simply the topmost encounter of the mine. And then we roll, and on a 5 or 6 we'll have another mine encounter. On a 1 to 4 we will have this special encounter, the broken lift. But let's see. Okay, so that we simply have 2 of these standard encounters. Let's see what we got here. And remember, we can choose the order in which we want to resolve these encounters. So that is Mangled Remains, a broken and twisted mess that looks like it may once been human rests here. The sight is not pretty, the smell is worse. Oh gosh. Well, that is... If there is someone you were looking for as part of your mission, this is all that remains of them. They are considered dead. Each hero gains 25 experience. The posse may either turn back with this knowledge, the mission counts as successful, or the preacher is now just completely devastated. He sees his daughter there, and I mean, this is just so horrible, you know, just some, basically, I don't know, maybe mostly bones, a little bit of hair might be left, and it's just absolutely terrible. Poor guy, and the poor daughter, of course. But hey, at least some experience. Or continue to finish the mission for some good old-fashioned revenge. Yeah, of course we're gonna do that. So, yeah. And then, oh, it's the same thing, Mangled Remains. So I would suggest now each hero may take a Spirit 6 test. If passed, recover 1 grit. If failed, take D6 horror hits. I say the first thing was actually already done with the first encounter, so we now encounter that second part. Makes sense for me. Okay, a Spirit 6 test. Now, this guy only has a Spirit of 2. The Gunslinger starts. And he didn't make it, of course. Well. And then D6 horror hits. That's 1, so that's not so bad. Yeah, he's fine. He has a willpower of 4. Okay. Now it's the saloon girl with a Spirit of 3, and she also didn't make it. We have 5 horror hits. Holy moly. She's got a willpower of 4 too. And she takes 3 hits. Not that great. Okay. U.S. Marshal. Well, he's got a Spirit of 2. And he made it. Pretty cool. That gives him a grit. Neat. He can actually take it. And then finally, the father of the poor girl. Let's see how his mind suffers. With a Spirit of 4, he believes in God. And, well, if it's God's will, then so be it. Yeah, easy. Ha! With a cold smile, he just says, Amen. Everything's fine with God on our side. Yeah, okay, hey. Take it easy, boy. And so yeah, that's basically the end of the turn then, I would say. And well, now we can simply move on. Everybody gets 25 experience. And yeah, as I said, we can simply move on and try to kill some monsters. Let's see how far we can make it and what awaits us during this adventure. So yeah, hope to see you in the next video or on lonesomegamer.com. Bye.